Congressman Eric Swalwell from the East Bay for 2 minutes.
Mr. Speaker, it is truly an honor to pay tribute to two legislators, two lions of the United States Congress, who I am honored to have had the privilege to serve with for 2 years. Henry, it's often said that there's nothing more important than one's health, and no one has done more to improve the health of Americans than the gentleman from California, Henry Waxman. He provided better health care for the elderly and poor through improved Medicare and Medicaid programs, offered federal help to those with HIV and AIDS, and vastly expanded the use of less expensive generic drugs, on and on and on. Henry also worked to advance public health by improving the environment in which we live. This included pushing for legislation to protect the quality of our air, water, and food. Now, George, my neighbor just to the north, I'll never forget the first day I met George. It was in our caucus meeting, and he came up to me and he said, "How old are you?" I told him I was 31 years old. He said he was about the same age, just a little bit younger when he was elected, and he gave me one piece of advice. He said, "You are not elected in this town until you're reelected. You go home every single weekend and you represent your constituents." And I saw George every single weekend flying home on that plane, and I never felt sorry for myself because I know that George went home for the past 40 years every single weekend. He's also stood up and advocated for working families. And I'm fortunate that not just what he's done for advocating to increase the minimum wage, but he came out to my district and talked to our local brothers and sisters in labor about how he can teach me to work with them and listen to them and advocate for them. He stood up for children to make sure that poor kids across our district, across Northern California, have access to education and a better chance to expand upon that freedom to dream. But I think one of the greatest things about George is not just the legacy and the legislation that he's leaving, but also the members that he has mentored. When you look at the bills George has passed into law, it inspires you to be a part of a place that can do good and can do better. But perhaps my favorite memory of George is coming down onto the House floor as George is giving an impassioned floor speech. And George tends, as you know, to go just a little bit over time, but when he starts to go over time, he starts to raise his voice. And he starts to bang and bang and bang on that podium as he's standing up for working families and children in our country. And the poor speaker tries to gavel him down. But never, never, never has anyone been able to gavel down George Miller and what he has stood up for in this Congress. Long live your memory, George. Long live your legacy, and may you continue to inspire all of us to do better.
Mr. Speaker, I now